What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Albion Online video. In this video, I want to share with you guys how to effectively gather in black zones. This actually was one of my most suggested and recommended videos for me to do, and I was gonna do a whole entire ultimate guide to black zones because I thought the new Outlands was gonna come out today, but I was wrong. My prediction was wrong. The new Outlands did not come out today after the reset. So I'm going to hold off that video about the ultimate guide to black zones, explaining everything you need to know about black zones. But in this video, I want to share with you guys how to effectively gather in black zones. How to not end up like this dude right here who just died. But how to effectively do this when you are gathering in black zones. So to start off, the most important thing we need to talk about, and it is about speed. Speed is key when you're out in the Outlands, aka the black zones. You need to be fast. You need to be faster than your opponent. If you're faster than your opponent, you will have a higher chance of surviving. For this reason, do not, and I can't stress this enough, do not bring an ox when you're starting out, when you're in the black zone. You will get dismounted. Those gankers, those guilds will get your loot if you bring an ox. You are too slow with an ox, and yes, your ox has some HP and kind of tanky, does not matter. They will get you if you have an ox. Speed is key. Bring a horse, especially an armored horse if you can buy an armored horse, because you get the speed and you also get the armor. So bring a horse. I only brought a tier 4 horse because I was Limhurst locked and I was in Caerleon, so I just teleported to Limhurst and I bought all this stuff, so I just got a tier 4 horse. But bring an armored horse if you can. A normal horse would do fine. Anything that's fast. You can literally bring a direwolf, a saber-tooth, something like a stag is good as well. I think stags are a little better than tier 4 horses, so maybe like a stag, salamander, anything that's fast with speed. Bring it. Don't bring an ox. You are too slow. I know you have that extra carry capacity and you can be here out here in the Outlands for a longer time, but you will die. So bring something fast. Speed is key. For anything about your armor pieces, you want to bring gathering gear. I haven't talked much about gathering gear in my channel, but basically you want to buy gathering gear because the longer you wear the gathering gear, there's these stacks that build up, and once there's some stacks build up, you get an extra gathering yield, and that yield will yield you more resources and more fame. So I'm wearing the full set of tier 7 minor gathering gear, and I have a total of 30 stacks. And as you can see up here, these things keep stacking the longer you wear your gear, up to 30 stacks. And these 2 stacks up here give me 1.25% gathering yield, and this final stack gives me 2.5% gathering yield. These give me 1.25%. So bring gathering gear because you want that extra yield. And some of these gathering gear give you some abilities that you want. You want something like cleanse, you want something like flee, and something like wind wall is a good set. So if you're a kind of like myself, if you're an ore miner, doing cleanse, doing wind wall, and doing flee is a good set because you can easily cleanse out of whatever they're doing, put the wind wall so they can't go on you, and then just easily flee. And that flee right here gives you, let's see, a 200% capacity, max load capacity boost for 7 seconds. So if you are heavy and you're overloaded, you can easily pop the flee and you'll have that 200% extra max load capacity. So that is what you need to bring for your gear. For your weapon, I suggest bringing the Bloodletter and the Mist Color. The reason you want the Bloodletter is because you have 2 dashes to get away. We have our W dash, which is called a dash ability, which you can easily just dash to a location, and then you have your E called lunging stabs, where you can dash back. So the Bloodletter is probably the best weapon to gathering because you have those 2 dashes and you can easily get away if you have 2 dashes. And you want to bring the Mist Color because of that cooldown reduction, the cooldown modifier of 8.8% right here. So you want to bring the mist color. If you don't want to get the blood letter, or you don't have enough money to buy a blood letter, anything in the dagger tree right here is good, because all of these have the dash ability under W, but only the blood letter has these 2 dashes. So anything works out, but if you can get the blood letter, make sure you get the blood letter, because you can easily just double dash and get away from anybody who's trying to harm you. For foods, you need to bring pork pies. Especially if you're out here in the Outlands, you don't want to bring something else. No goose pies, no whatever. Bring pork pies. These are tier 7 pies, and they will give you a 15% gathering yield bonus, which is insane. You're going to be getting a lot more resources, and you're also going to be getting that extra 30% capacity for 30 minutes. So each pie lasts for 30 minutes. So bring like 4 or 5 pies, however long you want to be out here, and eat those pies for that. First of all, the capacity, the load capacity, so it gives, it kind of helps you, since you're not bringing an ox, because you shouldn't bring an ox, but it gives you that 30% extra capacity. So eat a pie, bring a pie. For your potion slot, there are a couple things you can bring. You can bring a sticky potion. I actually had a sticky potion, but I needed to use it to get away. So bring a sticky potion. Just search sticky potion. I think you can buy the tier 3 ones. And what that sticky potion does is you throw it down like this goo thing on the ground, and if they walk over it, they get a 35% slow, so it's pretty good. You could bring something like a healing potion as well. So if you get dismounted and there's a bunch of people on you, you can pop the healing potion, and you will be able to regenerate 27% over whatever. Blah. Just bring a healing potion if you want. Something else, you can bring the Gigantify potion, I think, where you just insanely grow up and you get a bunch of health, and maybe like an invisible potion if you have the money to do that. Everything else, that's exactly what you should bring. Bring a bag, whatever, and then bring your tool, and you are good to go to start gathering in a black zone. So the next thing you're gonna do is you need to figure out which zone you are going to be zoning through. For me, I was zoning through Hot Shadows Plain. And the first thing you need to realize is when you zone in, you're going to be getting a blue bubble, and this bubble allows you not to get damaged or CC'd or slowed or whatever. So what you need to do is, as soon as you zone in, make sure you run as far away as you can from that, from the portal, from the realm gates. You should also have a clue on which location you want to go. One thing, do not gather in the same zone as the portal, because that is where, there's going to be a high density of players there. And if you gather there, yes, you can easily run to safety and you go into the portal and you get a shield, but there's more people. So would you rather have more people be in a location, or less people in another location but you don't get the bubble? So go into another zone that is not a portal, that does not have a portal. So I'm here into the next zone. And also make sure, and you have to kind of do your own research, especially for your own areas. If you have found a zone that has less PvP action, kind of do your own research on which zones you should do. You should stay around 2 or 3 zones away from the portal. You don't want to be too far, because you don't want to make the whole entire trip too long. You might have a higher chance of getting ganked if you're super far away. So somewhere between 2 or 3 zones away, you are good. I'm currently the 1 zone away, and the reason is because I'm inside my Alliance territory here. But 2, 3 zones, maybe 1 zone, depends. And you're good to go, and then you can easily go into the portal location. Try figuring out where your portal is located. So right now my portal is located on the west side. So something like the southwest and the northwest locations here will be good to go, because I can easily run to this location to zone in, or this location. If I go into zones like this one or this one, it's too far away from that portal, and if something happens, you can easily just run back. So once you made it to the zone you want to be in, the first thing you're going to do is you need to get away from the main road. The reason you want to do this is because people, guilds, gankers, they travel through this road, not necessarily for any PvP action, but they're just traveling. They're just moving from one location to the other, and you don't want to be there in the line of sight of a guild, especially if they're a bunch of guilds or a bunch of players moving, if they just did some kind of guild activity and they're coming back. You don't want to be next to the pathway. So I'm actually not that close. I'm pretty much far away enough that they don't see my my name, so you want to be kind of far away. And what you want to do is you want to begin, first of all, you want to get off and you want to eat your pie, so that's what I'm going to do. And you just want to begin gathering. There are some tips I can show you guys on how to effectively do this. The first tip is don't dismount far away from whatever resource you're trying to gather. So this is actually kind of far away, but I've seen a lot of people, especially in blue and yellow zones, they're kind of like dismount and they walk to the zone like this until they're like the whatever resource they're trying to do. So don't do this. Reason being, if someone attacks you, if someone even hits you, that horse would disappear. Period. So if I'm here and I see a guy dashing to me, or I don't know, he's invisible and I see him coming towards me, if he hits me and I'm far away from my horse, the horse would instantly disappear just like that, and I won't have access to my horse. So make sure you are close to your horse so you can instantly just click on your horse and you can go on your way. So I suggest always keeping your horse super close, just like this, where you are, collecting a resource and you are just one single click away from mounting into your horse, just like that. Don't gather far nodes if those nodes are away from your horse, just like this, because if you get dismounted, if someone even hits you, that horse will just disappear. So that's another key thing. Something else is just stay away from the main roads. And I know a lot of people seem to think it's pretty hard to do this, and the only reason that black zones are technically hard is because of the guild activities. If there is massive guilds trying to gank, especially again in those portal locations, then it's kind of hard for new players to get into black zone gathering. But once you're away from that main portal location and you're in another zone, you are good to go. There's not a lot of action, and if there is action, easily get in your horse and run away. So if you do see a person, if I see a name from like very far away, make sure you either keep your mount very close to you or you mount up as soon as you see their name, just in case something does happen. You're easily just moving fast. Again, speed is key, and you always want to be moving while you do this. Any other tips I can give you is mainly going to be on the territory you're in. Memorize the locations, mostly where a high density of mobs are, because one of the biggest problems when somebody is gathering and there's people coming towards them to, gank them or something, is to start moving in just a bunch of crazy locations, and they just start going crazy and going everywhere. Memorize where the high density mob areas are and stay away from that, because if these mobs hit you, you will be slowed, and if you're slowed, there's going to be a chance of someone catching you. So stay away from mobs, especially I think in the I think the like snow areas, the ore areas have a lot of mobs. But sounds like this, they actually don't have a lot of mobs in one location. But stay away from mobs. If you are running away, make sure you know which paths are the safest from mobs so they don't slow you down. If you do get dismounted, couple things you can do. First thing is, if you're overloaded, if you can't walk, what you can easily do is, before you even get dismounted, make sure you just get rid of everything in your inventory. Reason being is, if you start destroying stuff, so if I destroy this, I will start losing some weight. So what you can do is, if I'm about to get dismounted, if they're killing my horse, I can easily press tab and just start throwing everything in the ground and trashing it. That way, if I'll get dismounted, I can actually move. Now, if you get dismounted and you don't have the horse and you are heavy and you can't move, what you can do is you can continue doing this, but I suggest for you to fight. There's no point in running. If you're running at 0.1% speed, there's no point. So either fight. If you have the mist color, you have something called the lunging stab, and what this happens if the player is below 40% health, especially for the tier 4 bloodletter, it does 863 damage. So it's actually very, very good. I suggest taking Sunder Armor here and the dash and then the lunging stab, so you can just easily Q them. If you need to get away, use the W, and if you need to finish them off, if they're below 40%, make sure you dash through them. Make sure you hit your dash, and it will do a lot of damage. If that happens, if you get dismounted, You still have the chance, if you get dismounted, to throw everything from your inventory, trash it. Yes, you're going to lose all your precious resources, but you get to keep your gathering gear. If you survive, you get to keep your gathering gear, you get to keep your horse, and all your cool stuff. So just some resources are not worth your life, because if you do die, you lose the whole entire thing. You lose everything. So if you get dismounted, start trashing stuff quickly. And you will be good to go. If you're able to move after you get dismounted with a doubles dash, or if you're fighting, make sure you stand your ground and begin attacking him. With that being said, that's pretty much all. Black zones are not necessarily different from any other zone. The only different thing is that you have to be careful about the portal. You need to master portal. Just realize how the portal situation currently is. If there's a lot of people in the portal, maybe you don't want to gather in the black zones currently or at that time if there's so many people in the portal and stuff. But it's all about the portal. The portal is the only big problem about black zones. If there was no portal, it would be the same thing as a red zone, except some other stuff. But for gatherers, it'll be the same thing. But that portal, that realm gates, is the only thing that makes it dangerous for gatherers. So stay away from the portal, stay away from the realm gates, and you should be good to go. Once you're done gathering, you should just easily just head back, and make sure you're not overweight. And you're gonna have to make a couple trips here, back between the black zones and your city, because you have a horse and you don't have that capacity to do it. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be trying to upload an Ultimate Guide video about the Black Zones or Outlands once the new Outland expansion comes out. But for now, this will do about gathering. Hopefully you guys learned something and take some of these tips into your own playstyle, and hopefully you can be less scared of gathering in Black Zones. You get a lot of money and a lot of good loot if you gather in Black Zones. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more Albion content, and I will see you guys later on my next video. Peace.